I have some more questions for you afterwards, but go ahead.
Okay, so as I've said before, patriarchy isn't just men oppressing women, it's the idea. Women can still hold patriarchal ideas, even as women. Society functions under patriarchal ideals. These things are taught to us since we're young. They're taught to us in many different things, in many different forms. They're taught to us in different behaviors, school, just different societal norms. Like,
you gotta be a mom. You gotta
yes.
have to cook.
You gotta talk in the mic if you're gonna.
You gotta
speak.
have domestic roles, and you're gonna be I don't know, things like that along that line.
Yes.
So
those assigning gender roles at a very young age, like, oh, women are always expected to cook and clean, women are expected to give childbear, like all of these things function under a system of patriarchy, and when these behaviors are repeated over time and time again, it sustains this idea. Like all of these different actions and behaviors and institutions that these ideals are ingrained into, that's what sustains the idea over time. Now,
wait, you mentioned an objection to this view that women should be moms or have children. Isn't there a biological basis though?
Yes, I think
for
that obviously, yes, I'm not denying that, but I think that women should be given the choice of whether they want to be a mom or not.
Nobody should be compelled to.
And I think that, but a lot of times in society, like as a girl, it's assumed by a lot of people that I want to have children. People don't say, oh, would you like to be a mom? They assume that I am going to become a mom one day. That is assumed that that's my natural role as I get older.
Can you say the same thing for men?
I don't think so in the same way. I think that it's definitely there. It's definitely present. Like there is still that expectation, but take for example, like two stereotypes, right? You have like a woman in her 40s who doesn't have children versus a man in his 40s who doesn't have children. When you think of the woman in her 40s, you're like, oh, she's lonely, she's a spinster, she has no purpose, like she doesn't have a family, like she can't possibly have like that inner joy within her life. Think of a man in his 40s, oh, he'll settle down at some point, he's a bachelor, he's just enjoying his life, like all of these things.
Do you think there's a biological basis for this?
I think at some point, just because of due to like the reproductive system, yes, but I do think that a large component is societal.
Yeah, well, I think that that's all bullshit. So here's a good example of why it's bullshit. It ignores ontology, and you know what ontology is. You were taught that in your feminist studies course, right?
No, I don't know what that is. Could you?
No, you weren't taught ontology in your feminist study course. They don't ever teach ontology. So
I'm just being
the study
honest.
of being, meaning that there's a difference between men and women. They're not interchangeable widgets as much as feminists would like to pretend that we are. We each have a separate ontological nature. Our very nature in being is different. This is why these stereotypes exist. They exist because the actual root in which is a man and what is a woman are totally different from one another.
Right,
And so when you take these loaded terms like patriarchy, what's ignored by feminists is nature. Not nature as in the natural world, but rather the nature of what the thing actually is. Men and women are not the same thing.
I never said
Period.
that word.
And
Okay.
so because of that, we have a different telos, a different purpose. And this is why when people think about purpose and they say, oh, the 40-year-old spinster, this is not something which is socially pressured as much as it is a way for us to understand the nature of women is to make children. This must be the case because there's no other way they can be made. And so, of course, we would see that women who defy their own nature are going to be more miserable than not. Anything which devolves away from its own purpose tends to not be very happy.
Do you think that as a woman, my only purpose is to have children?
I think it's your ultimate telos.
You think that the most fulfilling, joyful experience I could ever have in my life is to have children,
As opposed to.
Yes.
as opposed to anything
So many
else?
other
Wait, let me
So
ask you.
here, hang on. Let me finish real quick, Brian.
Okay. I'll go after
All right,
you.
let me
Go
give you
ahead.
the straight
No,
answer.
I want to hear what you have to say.
Yes. And why?
Okay.
Why would I think that? Well, because all of the evidence, which I have and you have, would indicate that that is true. A, can men have children?
No.
No. Who can?
Women.
And the primary edict from an evolutionary standpoint is reproduction, is it
Yeah.
not?
Well, yeah, of course. Nobody's denying that.
So then if the primary edict is reproduction and only women can have children, then it seems that the nature and purpose for women ultimately is to be the ones who have children. Otherwise, we go extinct, right? That wouldn't make a lot of sense.
Right.
So yes, of course, I would tie generally the purpose of the thing to the thing.
Yeah. Okay. You're finished, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that is all absolutely true. There's nothing I can disagree about that. But why the need for like zero effort in wanting progress, like wanting more than that? That is
Why? What can be more? What? I don't understand how you can deliver more progress to society than replication. For instance, rocks and non-biological things cannot replicate. You can actually replicate your genetics. You can do that.
Yeah, that's a miracle.
Solely biological beings only can do this.
Yeah, that's a miracle, and that's
what
great.
could ever be a higher purpose than that for a woman? I would actually like to know that. What would be a higher purpose for a woman than replication?
I personally, if I were to have a child right now, I would not be like, this is the end of it. I'm the happiest I've ever been, and this is the happiest I'm ever going to be.
How do you know?
This is amazing. I know because purpose isn't just like being a mom. There's plenty of other things that fulfill me. No, I'm not.
Then how the fuck would you know?
Because there's plenty of other things that
what are you talking about?
I'm talking about the things that have given me purpose, that have fulfilled me and kept me alive and happy and not still wanting to have to be a mom prematurely because that's my purpose.
So let me ask you very directly,
or I'm never going to be able to.
Let me just ask you very directly. What could you ever do in your life that would be more important than replicating your genes?
I mean,
oh my God!
Honestly, if we're going to go into that territory, then like there's plenty of other things.
Then there's what?
Helping other children that don't have parents, maybe.
You mean
I don't
whose
have
genes
to
have already been
replicate my
replicated?
own genes to do that. That comes from like a really selfish.
So somebody else has been able to replicate their genes, but not you.
No, but you know, like if there's 5 children that don't have parents, they have nothing, and then I'm over here wanting to replicate myself in that like selfish state of mind.
Why would that be
selfish? I have
selfish?
the choice of doing it. It's a bit selfish because you can help this child that is gonna die without your.
I want to bring it back to
why can't you help the child and replicate?
The resources are gonna have to be.
Andrew, I'm going to get things back on track a little bit.
Wait, what? Wait. I don't even understand the argument.
It's off the rails.
So you don't replicate because there's children out there who are in need?
Yeah, you don't have to replicate in order to have that feeling of motherhood.
Somebody has to replicate.
If you're talking about purpose.
Wait, somebody has to replicate for those children to exist.
There's plenty of people replicating all over the fucking world right now.
So somebody has to replicate, right?
Yes, but that.
So if that's the case, then still you would still be fulfilling your ultimate purpose, which would be to take care of what is replicated.
Hold on.
Same thing.
You were going